A few years ago, a creator named Sierra Thompson caused an uproar when she said that one of the most dangerous groups in the US is white women. What she was referring to is the long history of white women's lies leading to horrifying acts of violence against black Americans. For example, in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a 19-year-old black teenager named Dick Rowland accidentally bumped into a white woman named Sarah Page in an elevator. Page screamed and ran away, and a lie spread that Rowland had assaulted her. This gave a white mob the excuse to go on a murder spree that left hundreds of black people dead in what came to be known as the Tulsa Massacre. 2 years after this massacre, something similar happened in Rosewood, Florida. When a white woman named Fannie Taylor falsely accused a black man of assaulting her, a white mob went on a rampage through the black community, murdering dozens and throwing the bodies into mass graves. In 1955 in Mississippi, a white woman named Carolyn Bryant lied and told her husband that a black teenager named Emmett Till had tried to assault her. That night, Bryant's husband went out and kidnapped Emmett Till, tortured, and murdered him. Neither Carolyn Bryant nor her husband ever faced any consequences for their actions. This dark history is the reason why Sierra Thompson argued that white women can be so dangerous. And she was also responding to several cases across the country in the past few years where white women have called the police on black people, putting their lives in danger. For example, in 2020, a white woman called the police on a black man birdwatching in Central Park after he asked her to put her dog on a leash. Because police encounters with black Americans so often turn deadly, many people argued that by simply making that phone call, this woman was setting herself up to be an accomplice to murder. If we look back at history, what we find is that sometimes white women have played a terrifying role in the violence against black people. And there were even some women who made a career out of calling for this kind of violence, both in the United States and around the world. In the 1920s, Ray Beveridge, a former actress turned right-wing activist, went on a speaking tour across Germany where she protested the presence of black troops in that country. As part of the Versailles Treaty that ended World War I, the Rhineland in Germany became a demilitarized zone. And when the French army occupied that territory, they enlisted black soldiers from Senegal. People like Beveridge began a racist campaign calling for these black soldiers to be removed from Germany to protect white women. Her speeches were titled The Black Horror and The Black Shame. One way that she drummed up racist fears was by constantly warning about the threat of mixed-race children to the purity of the German race. During her tour of 25 German cities, Beveridge warned about the brutal cravings of these savage blacks for white women. In one speech, she said that the Negro has much less capacity to think, but much stronger sensual feelings than the white. She said that black beast with a wild erotic drive would assault white women, white girls, and white boys. She spread blatant lies about how the victims of this unregulated passion of black men would often be found close to death, their bodies torn through the brutal attacks, some of them with wounds from bites, which showed obviously how the wild black beast had fallen upon its victim. Every single time Beveridge gave a speech, she would include dozens of outright lies, such as that 60% of the children of mixed race were born with syphilis, or that in German brothels, every girl has to satisfy 10 black men every 3 hours. She even took propaganda photos like this one, where she held a well-nourished black child and a malnourished white child, trying to claim that black children were treated better than white children in Germany. During her speeches, Beveridge constantly used the N-word when describing black people, and she argued that the use by France of black troops on the Rhine was detrimental to the culture of the world. She instructed her listeners in Germany to solve this problem the same way that American men did in the South, by lynching. She told them, "Your weapons have been taken away from you, but there is always a rope and a tree. Take up the natural weapons used by our men of the South. Lynch. Hang every black who assaults the white race." Often crowds of 50,000 Germans would listen to these speeches, which Beveridge was paid extremely well for. Another white woman who called for the lynching of black men was the feminist Rebecca Latimer Felton from Georgia. In 1897, she warned that black men were roaming America with a license to degrade and debauch. During one speech in Georgia, Felton said, "If it needs lynching to protect white women's dearest possession from the ravening human beast, then I say lynch, 1,000 times a week if necessary." Now, it's important to note that these accusations of an epidemic of black men assaulting white women were completely false. In the 1890s, the anti-lynching activist Ida B. Wells conducted in-depth investigations into these charges. She found that in a majority of lynchings, the accusations of black men assaulting white women were false and were only invented later as an excuse to justify this racist violence. The fact that white women played a key role in racism and white supremacy should come as no surprise. From the moment that enslaved Africans arrived in the Americas, white women were critical to the maintenance of slavery and white supremacy. In the book They Were Her Property, Stephanie E. Jones Rogers shows that white women employed management techniques that were as effective and brutal as those used by slave-owning men. White women actively participated in the slave market, profited from it, and used it for economic and social empowerment. The role of women in white supremacy hasn't gone away either. Ever since Trump won in 2016, many people have argued that his victory was rooted in white supremacy and racism. And white women played a key role in electing Trump in 2016 and 2024. Also, in the past few years, we've seen a disturbing rise in white women openly embracing anti-black racism and being proud of their potential to cause harm to black Americans. In 2018, Mississippi Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith told an audience that if she was invited to a public hanging, she'd be in the front row. Many people pointed out how disgusting this statement was, considering that Mississippi had the highest number of lynchings of black Americans in the country. For decades, 2 to 3 black people were publicly hanged or burned alive in Mississippi every week. In 2019, a white woman named Nancy Goodman was caught on camera calling a black woman a stupid N-word in a restaurant. When she was later asked about the incident, she said she would happily use that word again. More recently, a white woman named Shiloh Hendricks called a black child the N-word at a park in Minnesota. When she set up an online fundraiser, she raised over $600,000 from people who left comments like, "White unity will unite," "Whites stand strong," and "White rise." After this story spread around the world, a white woman named Lily Gaddis went on the Piers Morgan show, and she not only defended Shiloh Hendricks using this racial slur against a child, but she admitted that she frequently uses the N-word herself. When white women admit to using the N-word and take pride in their ability to weaponize their whiteness and put black lives in danger, they are following in a dark legacy in this country that goes back to the days of slavery and lynching. That's why it's been so disheartening to see some white women come on this app and talk about how they have black fatigue. Whenever any white person uses this phrase, we all know what they're really saying. Black fatigue is just another way of saying the N-word. And we've seen this kind of rebranding before. We saw how in the early 2000s, white people started using the word thug instead of the N-word. We've seen how racists used the term alt-right when they were really describing the same white supremacy this country has always dealt with. What's so troubling about this conversation around black fatigue is that it fits into a trend of white women gaining influence by using racist dog whistles. When people like Ray Beveridge spread her hatred in the 1920s, she reached thousands of people. Thanks to social media, the Ray Beveridges of today can spread their hate to millions. Now, I want to make it clear that by covering this information, I'm in no way saying that we should condemn all white women, or use this history to incite violence or hatred against any women. We can't change the past, but we can change how we act in the present and how we work together to build a better future. We have to stand up and condemn racism whenever we see it, no matter who it comes from. Because the only real fatigue comes from living in a country that is still poisoned by racism and division. The only way to move forward is united as one.
White women are often the most racist people around, and let me tell you about my experience this morning. I take a class regularly at my gym every single week, and we have a usual instructor. But this week, we had a sub, a Black woman, teaching our dance class. And this sub did not turn the fan on in time for this one particular woman in class, a white woman. And she snapped at the instructor, like just went off on her about how she wasn't doing it fast enough, how she owed it to us, whatever. She just went on a rampage. And our usual instructor has not turned on the fan, has messed up the class, whatever. This woman has never said a word. Now, of course, other people stepped in and put her in her place. But to me, this white woman just wanted to take it out on a Black woman. This is 2026. And this kind of stuff happens all the time. And I wish this woman had asked herself, why is she so comfortable going off on a Black woman, but not anyone else?
If you are a white woman and you are dating, in love with, married to a Black man, I want you to listen up. There are certain things that you need to know. And I don't think this is spoke about enough. But the most dangerous thing in this world are the tears of a white woman. And if you truly love the Black man that you are with, you need to know that you need to have his back and protect him at all costs, including protecting him from yourself. And what do I mean by that? My son was dating a white woman. My son is biracial. They got into an argument in public, and she started to scream and cry. And my son immediately left the scene. She was outraged. She couldn't believe my son left. My son left because my son knew that if he stayed there and this woman was crying and screaming at him, a Black man, there was not going to be any questions asked. He was going to be thrown to the ground. He was going to go to jail. It was not going to be any questions asked because this white woman was crying and screaming about him. Now, I'm sure this female may have been hurt. Her feelings was hurt. She was a little emotional. However, when you are dating a Black man and you're a white woman, you need to understand that sometimes your fucking feelings and your emotions have to take a fucking back seat to not cause harm to the person you are dating, that you love, that you are married to. And I'm not telling you that if you are truly in fucking danger, not to get help. But if you're just emotional, you're just pissed off, and you want to scream and hoop and holler, in public is not the time. Because that can turn out very deadly for the Black man that you claim to love so much, whether you realize it or not. If you were just dating a white man and you were yelling, nobody would really pay any attention to that shit. But when people see a white woman and a Black man and you're screaming, all hell will break loose. Because when white women cry, everybody responds. Even if the shit is stupid, even if it's frivolous, even if it's a lie. The most deadliest thing in this world are white women tears. I have said this time and time again. And I learned this very, very early in life. I grew up in the projects. I was raised by two wonderful Black women that helped my mother raise me. So I know what I have witnessed, what I have experienced, and I know for a fact of what I speak. I learned very early in life that I could be a voice for my friends and my family because people would listen to me far more than they would listen to them. And if you listen to anything I have ever said to you on this app, if you are a white woman and you are dating a black man, you are in love with a black man, you are married to a black man, you need to know that you need to have his back and protect him at all costs, even if it is protecting him from you. Handle that shit at home if you are not in danger.
Because white women are dangerous, and white women have always been dangerous. Non-white women cannot assume that a white woman is an ally. In the same way that us women cannot assume that a man is an ally and that he's a safe person, women of color have never been able to assume that we are an ally. We have shown historically that we are an ally when it benefits us and we need the numbers. Does this necessarily apply to you? Absolutely not. I don't know you. But if you take offense to this and you don't understand why I said it, or you don't understand the historical context, then that's on you. Beyond just not being an ally, white women have been dangerous historically because they have got black men killed. Black men have been lynched simply by a woman being uncomfortable, the black man around her. White women are dangerous because they refuse to learn. They refuse to accept and acknowledge their internal biases and their internal prejudices and their racism. An example of this just recently, actually going on still, I'm going to name names. There's a white woman on here that has a pretty big platform who said data centers should be put in the bad communities and leave the good communities' water alone, and specifically pointed out Flint. Here we are talking about Michigan again. Now, when she was called out about how that was racism, she didn't say, oh, I'm wrong. I need to look into this. I need to learn about this brand of racism and why I've internalized it so much and why I would think that it's okay. She blocked people. She cried about it. She's made multiple apology videos without an apology. Been unwilling to learn. White women and their unwillingness to learn makes them dangerous. And it's important that we understand that and recognize it, and we acknowledge that it lives inside of us. There is systemic racism and it's deep down inside of us, and we need to actively combat it. Turning our heads and shutting our eyes is not going to get us anywhere. White women are dangerous, and we need to accept that so that we can change it.
I make $125,000 a year, and I want to make sure that you're all up in here. Girl, I got you, girl. I'm white. I'm white. I'm white. I got you, girl. Hi, how are you? I'm hot. I'm beautiful. I'm 51. What are we going to talk about tonight? Being hot, being beautiful, being white, being my new weave.
Why do you feel you need to be in outer space?
Well, I live here and I pay rent. I pay almost $1,100.
And so does she.
Okay.
Just don't talk to her, please don't, because I don't know
what's going on.
Okay, I don't know, but we can call 911 to find out if you
That's
got a problem.
cool. Is your boyfriend here? Is your baby daddy here? Nobody cares. I'm
if you
white
touch
and
me-
I'm hot. I'm white and I'm hot. So what are you doing here?
I don't know, but we're going to see you in court Monday morning.
Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to it. Okay,
Absolutely.
great. I got you too, baby. I got you, baby. I got you. This is Myers Park. This is a Myers Park. Babe, good. Go. What are you doing hanging out here on...
Did you see this video out of Albuquerque, New Mexico of this white woman having the caucasity to yell at Mexicans to go back to where they came from? Watch.
Get your ass out of my fucking country. I put my life on the line for this country. You're fucking shithole. Go back to Mexico, you shithole. Don't even start with me, you liberal.
White people are really unbelievable, and they don't understand the irony of what they're saying. They are in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she's telling them to go back to where they came from. She obviously has never heard the phrase, we didn't cross the border crossed us. Because these Mexican people are the descendants of the indigenous people who this land belonged to, and you're the invader. So if anybody should be going back to where they came from, it should be you, white lady. Go back to Europe. And of course, in this video, you see all of her racism and her right-wing ideology come right out because she's telling anybody who gets in the way, get out of here, liberal. You're ridiculous, lady. So I'll give you the update when part 2 drops, but if anybody can help me find out who she is, come on, let's do this thing, TikTok. Have you seen this video out of Mexico where a white woman from Europe attacks a Mexican girl because she's Muslim? Watch.
Amigos, estaba en Cusco y una señora comenzó a agredirme, me comenzó a jalonear y casi me golpea, si no es porque la señora ahí y me dijo, ¿eres musulmana? Yo le dije, sí, qué asco, lárgate a tu país. Me dijo, y la señora ni siquiera era mexicana. Ella me dijo que era de Europa y que Europa se había infestado de musulmanes y que no quería lo mismo para México, pero la señora ni siquiera era mexicana. Es esta señora, es una islamofóbica. No. Es que usted está haciendo discriminación en contra, ¿no?
Tú vas a quitar esta. No vas
a me estaba discriminando, señora. No. Suélteme, por favor, me está lastimando. Esto es discriminación y está en México.
I'll stop there before the video gets taken down, but I want to start by saying I'm so sorry this happened to this girl. As you saw, the white woman snatched the phone away from the girl, and as the white woman was holding the phone, she kept saying, I will only give you back your phone if you take off your head covering. Now, she was able to get her phone back because someone else in the store snatched it away from the white lady. I'll show you that video in a second. The girl also showed the scratches and the marks that the white lady left on her arm when she grabbed her. Now, eventually, people from the store did come and try to intervene, but I don't know what happened after this. But this lady needs to be arrested. This was a hate crime. This was assault. This was absolutely Islamophobia. She even said it. You are an infestation. That is white supremacy Yahtzee language right there. These white people always want to criminalize immigrants and people of color when they are the criminals. They're the ones that are going around the globe bringing their hatred and their xenophobia and their white supremacy with them. That girl is in her country practicing her religion. She is the invader who's trying to tell other people what they can or can't do in their own country. The caucasity that these people have is unreal. Now, like I said, she snatched the girl's phone, but I actually want to show you how they got it back. Watch. Again, I can't show you the whole video or TikTok will take it down, but let me give you a play-by-play of how they got the phone back. Okay, a lady in the purple snatched it away from the white lady while she was talking. She handed it off to the lady wearing yellow. The white lady tried to fight the lady wearing yellow. She quickly passed it off to a lady wearing green. The lady wearing green passed it over to the lady wearing blue that you saw at the end of the video. But she actually handed it back off to the lady wearing purple who first took it, and the lady wearing purple actually handed it back to her secretly. And that's when she put it away, confusing the white lady until she forgot about the phone and then just started attacking her again verbally. I'm so sorry that this racist happened to this girl, happening to this community, but I'm so happy to see the community come together to try and protect her. This is the person this happened to. I've tagged them below if you want to see the whole video. Again, I'm so sorry this happened to this girl, and I'm so sorry that this continues to happen to the world.
My name's Kylie, and I'm obviously white. I grew up in a conservative white family, and I know there's been a lot of discourse about whether white people should talk about racism, and here's my argument for why I think that not only should we, but we have to. A lot of racism in white families occurs behind closed doors. I've been over at friends' parents' places and heard them say some pretty obscene things about people of color, assuming that I am on their side simply because I am white. Obviously, this makes for some awkward conversations when I do call them out, but point being, the depths of the racism and the darkness that seeps in deeply into these families can only, in my opinion, truly be exposed by other white people, because they will never be their full racist selves around anyone who is not white. They like to save face publicly and say that they're not racist, but then again, if you go into their homes and you hear the things they say, that would suggest otherwise. I just encourage you, if you're a white person and you know people like this, please say something. Don't just ignore it for fear of conflict.
Welcome to another episode of the Conversation Moment. Just saw a video somebody sent to me. And I stressed this because about 4 months ago, one of my nephews, he listened to me and he said, but his partner wouldn't listen to what he told me. So my uncle told me, don't mess with them white bunnies now, especially at work. Don't do it. Leave them white bunnies alone. But he didn't want to listen to the other guy. He started messing with that white bunny anyway. To make a long story short, he ended up losing his job. And he was good at what he do. They didn't give a damn. Let me tell you something, black men. It ain't a good thing messing with them white bunnies now. I'm telling you now, you can say what you want to say. If they get to crying, it's all over. It's over. Now check this out. Brother moves into a nice neighborhood, everything going along good. White bunny across the street hollering at him. They speak back and forth. To make a long story short, they started dating each other. He got a partner that's coming out of town. They're going to have a housewarming party, and he's a police officer. So they all get together and went to a Houston Rocket game. And so he told her, so look, well, after the game, if you want to come back, you can come on over and we'll get together, you know. And if you want to, oh yeah. So she gets over there, you know, and after, you know, they did what they did together. Both, it was a threesome. They did what they did. And then evidently, you know, the brother was just, you know, you ain't my woman, you know, we just having a good time. But she didn't like that, y'all. She didn't like that. So she took a whole month of living across. She must have been calling him. He won't answer the phone calls or whatever, or he was seeing somebody else or whatever it was. It triggered her. Oh, you ain't gonna talk to me no more. I said, I thought I'd let you and your buddy do what y'all did to me. Got something for both of y'all. You forgot that I'm white. You forgot that if I started crying, what's gonna happen? You forgot that. I'm white. And ain't nothing in America more dangerous than a white woman crying. Nothing. So she started crying. Like I said, the other guy, he was a cop, been a cop for 10, 12 years. To make a long story short, she said they raped her. The R word. Yeah. That was what they said. Yeah. So what happened? They arrested both of them. Check it out now. The brother said, well, look, man, I got it all on film. I don't care about that you got it on film, that it was consensual. I don't care. I'm gonna ruin your life. He lost his job, had to sell his house, the whole 9 yards, and they had proof that it was consensual. They had proof. The other brother, he had to sell his house, lost his job. You got that stigma on you, the R word on you now. See, let me tell y'all something here at the Conversation. I tell y'all things that straight up and down. Let me say something. If a black man get arrested, he could be innocent. But let's say, like me, got a record in the past. You know the first thing they're going to say? Well, he got arrested 35, 40 years ago for drugs and guns. They don't say 35, 40 years ago. He got a record like they make it seem like it's something happened last week, last year. You know, they don't put the date that it was 40 years ago. He's got a record. So now, anybody that sees the video, oh, yeah, he did it. Yeah, he doing drugs. He's selling drugs. Yeah, he did it. Yeah, he did it. See, even though I've been clean for 40 years, that don't matter. That don't matter, y'all. What matter is I got a record. I put that out there first before I talk about what happened. I'm going to wonder, he been arrested. He's got a record. What did that got to do with the case today? But that's where they do us. And like I said, the brother, both of them, the grand jury wouldn't indict him after they saw the film. But they had the film from day one. Do you think that she got charged with filing a false report? No. Ruined their lives. When I told my nephew, don't mess with them white bunnies now. Them white bunnies, you can say what you want to say. If y'all black, especially right now. And I want to say this to y'all right quick. Y'all do know that the DOJ is not taking any cases where, you've been wrongly shot or something happened to you in a state, DOJ ain't taking it now. Whatever the outcome of the local cops, that's what they're going with. If they you know how you can file with the DOJ, we ain't got time for that no more. Especially if it's something against a black person, where a white cop done kill a black person, or a white cop done beat up a black person. Listen to me here at the Conversation Moment. I'm talking to y'all, and I don't know y'all getting this or not. I don't know you think I'm joking or not. But as a black man in America in 2025, look around, brothers. Everything is against us. Everything. The man got it just like he wanted. Our women's against us. Our women can get on the phone and call the police and tell the police that you here and she ain't got a bruise on her nowhere. Your ass going to jail, bro. And it's a bald-faced lie. You can't beat your children. He always hated us. The white man always hated us from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. We don't have nobody but God. And that's why we need to stick together. And that's why I don't understand how we can continue to kill each other. Is I'm right or is I'm wrong?
I am woman enough to admit when I am wrong, and I was so wrong about that DoorDash girlie. Now, I didn't make a video about her, but I planned to, and I definitely made some comments at DoorDash that they did not deserve. Admittedly, I watch these videos on TikTok, watch these story times, only paying 10% attention. I'm doing my makeup, I'm cooking, I'm yelling at my kids, doing what I gotta do. And so when she came on and said she was SA'd, and I listened to the story, half listened to it, I was like, well, that's not SA, that's sexual harassment. And then you start to go down the rabbit hole and you realize what she said happened isn't exactly what happened. So what actually happened, that what's coming out now, is that he ordered the food. For some reason, he fell asleep on his couch naked, well, naked from the bottom down. I don't know what he was doing, but that's his business. He's in his house. And apparently the door was only cracked. But when she went to deliver the food at the door, she dropped off the food and pushed the rest of the door open. And apparently, like, she stuck her phone inside his house to record him butt naked and posted his genitals on the internet. On Al Green's internet, she posted this man's twig and berries. Sounds like he's the victim.